Hello booktube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amani and you are watching Along the Pages. Okay, so in this video I will be finally after a long time doing another wrap up and TBR. I have not done one of these in a hot minute. Okay, so let's just get straight into it. For the month of May, it was the Asian Readathon. If you're not familiar with the Asian Readathon, it is a month-long readathon that was created by Read with Cindy, and you're supposed to be reading a book by a different Asian culture in the month of May. So one book could be by one Asian culture, another book can be by another Asian culture, one could be written in Asia, somewhere in Asia. Just, you are supposed to be just exploring the world of Asians. And I was actually super excited for this, and unfortunately I completely flopped. It has not been a very good reading couple of months for me, and so I was really excited for this readathon, read-along. Read-along, I'm getting them confused, but anyway, you know what I'm trying to say. I was very excited for it, and unfortunately I disappointed myself, but it's okay because it happens and I can't put pressure on myself. So I'm going to share with you my very tiny wrap up. Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha Nan. I'm pretty sure that's how I pronounce her name. I do apologize if that is not how you pronounce it. This book I actually had started maybe 2 months ago. I read like the first chapter and I couldn't really get into it. But this month I actually did finish it, and I gave this book a 3 out of 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. It wasn't enough conflict for me to give it a 5 out of 5 stars. Unfortunately, I feel like if it had been a little bit more conflict, then I would have definitely ended up giving it a 5 out of 5 stars, or at least a 4 out of 5 stars. Another reason why I did not even give it a 4 out of 5 stars is because I felt like the way that the conflict that was in the book ended was not dramatic enough. I didn't feel like it didn't make me on the edge of my seat. Nothing happened where I was like, you know, or where I just was like, oh my gosh, I didn't expect that. Where did that come from? I didn't expect any of, I mean, not that I didn't expect it. I expected that and I didn't get any of that. With fantasies, I really want to be on the edge of my seat. I want to be completely engrossed in the book, and unfortunately I really did enjoy this. It was very slow for me, but I don't mind slow books. It was just more of I don't even know how to describe it. It was a lot of good things that did happen in this book. What I mean as in character development. The family aspect in this book is very good. I just, you know, I really enjoyed it. There are some gruesome parts, so if you are triggered by any sexual abuse, I do not recommend this book for you because there are some triggers in here. If you aren't familiar with this book, I'm gonna read a couple of lines from the synopsis. Lee is of the paper caste, the lowest caste in Ikara. Even so, rumors of her golden eyes have piqued the king's interest, and so she is ripped from her home and taken to the opulent palace, a gilded prison, her life now beholden to the demon's king. So that was also another thing that I didn't really like about the book, is the fact that, you know, Lee is supposed to be this mystery girl. How does she have these eyes? They're beautiful, and we didn't get enough of why she has the eyes, how she has those eyes. It was just a lot of things that I feel like could have been wrapped up a lot better. But with all that being said, I still did really enjoy this book, which is why I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. 5 stars. So overall, I do recommend. So for the next book that I read, I do not physically have it, but it's not even an Asian book, so God forgive me, is Dear Martin by Nick Stone. Now, I know you guys are like, didn't you read this book? So basically, I'm so ashamed. Nick Stone, I loved you. Like, I love you so much. Before I met you at Y'all West, I'm sorry, I always call it Y'all Fest. Before I met you at Y'all West, I knew that you would be speaking on one of the panels, and I wanted to see you even though I hadn't read your book. So I had planned on reading your book before I seen you, but then I ran out of time because I suck at freaking reading on a schedule and I never got to read it. So I met you and I hadn't even read your book. But I just really respected where you came from. Also, I never claimed to have read the book, so do not come for me. I'm not saying this to Nick Stone, I'm saying this to you guys. But anyway, I just really respected who you were, you know, as a woman, as a Black woman, an author, and just so real in who you were and raw. You and Angie Thomas, you guys really inspired me. So the minute I got back, I decided to listen to the audiobook a month later when I had the time. And I really, really wish that I had read it or listened to it before that I met you, but things don't happen how, you know, we want them to sometimes. But I truly, truly did love this book. It was 5 out of 5 stars for me. It touched everywhere it was supposed to. If you aren't familiar with Dear Martin, it basically follows a young man who is in his last year of high school. He is basically trying to get an academic, I believe. Yeah, so he's not an athlete, which I appreciate. He is a scholar and he is very smart, and he is not from a very nice neighborhood, but his mother has sent him to a wonderful school, and so he's in that school, and one of his friends ends up getting killed by a police officer. And in the midst of all this, he's writing letters to Martin Luther King, basically asking him, you know, like, what would Martin do, you know, trying to look at things from Martin's point of view, or trying to ask Martin for his advice for the things that he's dealing with in his life. This book touches from poverty to Black boy in poverty, from a Black boy who is more well off, from a Black boy with, you know, one parent who's not really active, from a Black boy who has both parents and they are active. It just touches it from a lot of different bases, and he also has a white love interest. So it is very good and very well-rounded. So if you are looking for more diverse books, I highly, highly recommend Dear Martin. That is it for what I read in the month of May. I feel ashamed, but you know what? We all have our reading slumps. We all have those times where we just don't read as much as we wanted to. I was making a reading vlog in the month of May for the Asian readathon, or read along, and I never got to finish it at all, and I'm kind of ashamed, but I will make it my point to read those books this summer. So now moving on to my TBR for the month of June, because it is June. I'm so excited. It is summer, which means that we are just about to be young and thriving and having fun. Okay, so my TBR for the month of June would be one, starting off with Christina Lauren, The Unhoneymooners. I just want myself a nice vacation holiday type of book. Okay, I want some snarky bickering, I want some love interest. I am just, you know, I'm a fantasy girl, and let me actually give you guys a forewarning for this TBR. I'm a fantasy girl. I love fiction, I love magic, I love all of that, and I need all of that whenever I'm reading. But I am really in the summer mood, okay? And what comes in summer? Smutty romances, okay? Trashy, smutty romances, and that's all that I'm living for in the month of June. So first one is going to be this one, The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. And so I'm gonna read you guys a snippet as I normally do. So Olive Torres, I want you guys to be able to see the book. Okay, so Olive Torres is used to being the unlucky twin. From inexplicable mishaps to a recent layoff, her life seems to be almost comically jinxed. By contrast, her sister Ami is an eternal champion. She even managed to finance her entire wedding by winning a slew of contests. Unfortunately for Olive, the only thing worse than constant bad luck is having to spend the wedding day with the best man and her nemesis, Ethan Thomas. That is all I'm going to say about this book. I've actually already finished reading the book, but I'm going to save my review and my, you know, my rating on it for the end of the month for the wrap up. But needless to say, I it. So for the next book that I will be reading in the month of June will be Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Okay, I loved Evelyn Hugo, and so I'm super excited to get into this book. Personally, I'm really mad that I got this one because I wanted the UK version. When I bought it, I was like, why does this not give me the feels that I was feeling for this book? And I realized it's because this is not the UK version. Like, the UK edition is so beautiful and colorful, and our edition here in the US is just meh. So yeah, I'm not really happy about having this edition. I was gonna return it, but I waited too late, so whatever. I still want to buy the UK edition. So anyway, I will read a little excerpt about this if you aren't familiar with the book. Okay, Daisy is a girl coming of age in LA in the late 60s, sneaking into clubs on Sunset Strip, sleeping with rock stars and dreaming of singing at the Whiskey A Go-Go. The sex and drugs are thrilling, but it's the rock and roll she loves most. By the time she's 20, her voice is getting noticed, and she has the kind of heatless beauty that makes people do crazy things. That's all I'm really gonna say, because I do like to go into books not knowing much. I'm not sure if you guys do, but I force you guys not to know much because I don't tell you much. But I've only heard really good things about this book. Everyone who enjoyed the Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo really enjoyed this book, so I expect nothing less than to love this book, and I'm really excited to read it. And also, again, I'm just into contemporaries for the summer. For the next book that I am currently reading for the month of June, let me take this ugly bookmark, would be With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo, or Acevedo. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. This book, I will read a little excerpt. Ever since she got pregnant freshman year, Imani Santiago's life has been about making the tough decisions, doing what has to be done for her daughter and her abuela. The one place she can let all that go is in the kitchen. There, she lets her hands tell her what to cook, listening to her intuition and adding a little something magical every time, turning her food into something straight up goodness. So this book, honestly, I think I'm gonna listen to it on audiobook because I've heard a lot of good reviews for it on audiobook, but I'm just here for the diversity. I'm here for the cover because it looks beautiful, and she has a daughter and she's young, she's in high school, and I don't know if it's gonna give me all the happy vibes that I want for summer, but I know that it will give me the contemporary, really good book vibe that I want, and that's all I need. So I will also be reading that book. And also for the next books, I do not have them physically, but I will be reading The Proposal by Jasmine Guillory. I'm not saying that right, but basically I'm going to also read you a little excerpt about this book. I'm going to read a little part of this book for you. When freelance writer Nicole Patterson goes to a Dodgers game with her actor boyfriend and his bros, the last thing she expects is a scoreboard proposal in front of 45,000 people. Saying no isn't the hard part. They've only been dating for 5 months and he can't even spell her name correctly. That is all I'm going to say about that book. That is all I know about that book, and it already just seems messy. Okay, so I'm super excited to read that. For the next book that I plan on reading, because like I said, I did already read The Unhoneymooners, but that is a part of June because I read it June 1st. I'm going to keep it going by reading another Christina Lauren book, and that would be Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Biting. Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating. So the little part is, Hazel Camille Bradford knows she's a lot to take, and frankly most men aren't up to the challenge. If her army of pets and thrill for the absurd don't send them running, her lack of filter means she'll say exactly the wrong thing in a delicate moment. Their loss. She's a good soul in search of honest fun. That doesn't tell me much, and I don't want to read anymore because, again, I don't like to go into books knowing what I'm about to get myself into, so I'll just leave it at that. I just know that this is going to be another good trashy romance, and I'm just here for it. So yeah, that's what I plan on reading. And
that is not what you plan on reading, sweetie, okay? Let's just pause this right here. I do plan on reading all of those books that I have just mentioned, but I completely forgot to add in some LGBTQ plus books. So here they are, people. I will be reading Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. And I will also be Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda within this month. So I just want to apologize that I just led you guys on and thought that I wasn't going to be including LGBTQ plus books within my TBR, because I was wrong, and I'm sure that I'm going to add more because I want to read more of those books, but these were just the two that I have been meaning to get to, so these are the two that I am for sure setting in stone I will be reading within this month. I'm sorry for this little part of my video. I forgot to put it in, and then I've already taken out my braids, so I can't just refilm it. So thank you guys so much, and let's just continue on to the video.
And that's my whole entire TBR. It's not too big, so that's only 5 books that I plan on reading in the month of June. I honestly think that I'll be able to get through all of them, and then I can read more books, but I just don't want to put too much pressure on myself, so I'm going to leave it slow and leave room for more. So basically that is all for my TBR for this summer. I plan on making a video for my June goals. My summer goals for my summer reading goals. I'm really excited to make that video. I love you guys so much. Thank you for hanging in there with me, because I know my consistency has not been all of that, but I'm going to get it back on track. And I love you guys so much. Thank you so much. Have a great summer. Let's just have fun this summer. Let's read lots of trashy romance and just have a good time. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.